What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another abnormal automotive video, and today we are going to take a look at this 2015 Hyundai Genesis Coupe R-spec 3.8. Now, as you can tell, this thing's in pretty rough condition, so and it has a blown up engine. So in this video we're going to be, or in this series, we're going to be rebuilding all the cosmetic damages as well as rebuild the engine, and we're going to give you all the details of how to rebuild it from top to bottom. And so if you are interested, or somebody you know that has a blown up engine that is interested in the video, stay tuned. And don't lie to me, because I know you know somebody with a blown up 3.8, because these things blow up left and right. But without wasting any more time, let's take a look at what we got going on. All right, so first things first, we're going to take a look at what we got here. And as you can see, overall it's pretty good. We got a little bit of bumper damage down here, but that should be no problem to fix. And then if we come around, I believe there is some bumper damage down here, which is also not a big deal. Let's take a look at the inside of this thing. And as you can see, it's been sitting for a while. Relatively clean, so this is what it looks like on the inside. Pretty good for what it is. The guy said it's been sitting for about a year. A little bit of something going on there, but I believe this should clean up pretty nicely. Oh, let's see what we got under the hood. And then we got some pieces. As you can tell, I'm pretty sure he tried to diagnose this and figured out he's not gonna fix it without pulling the motor. All right, so with the hood open, as you guys can see, he's taking out a couple pieces of hose. I put this on because, well, the oil cap was missing, so that's nice. And then I noticed that no spark plugs. Sweet, just what I wanted to see. And then put a ratchet down on the crank and try to spin it. That is a no-go, so something is definitely bounding up the shore block. That's what we got going on. So first off, what we're going to do is drain the oil and see what kind of carnage is in the oil pan. And then after that, we are going to be removing all of this, all the coolant and everything. What I'm going to try and do is remove this engine without removing the transmission, as well as without removing the front clip. There is another YouTube channel, I can't remember the name, but I'll put in the description, that has a great video on how to disassemble this whole thing, and will give you an idea of what you need to do. But basically what I'm going to do is a little bit different from what he's doing, because I really don't want to take off this front clip, and also I want to leave the transmission in the vehicle. So in order to do that, I think something will work is if I take out the air box, everything along here, take out the I don't know if you can see that, but the coolant hoses down there, undo the AC, because the AC still has refrigerant in it and you don't want to let that stuff out into the atmosphere. But on this side, I'm gonna undo the AC, undo this cooling pipe, and then there are 6 bolts holding this coolant pipe in, and then of course the crossbar right here. But after you remove the coolant pipe back there, you will be able to access most of the transmission bolts back there. And then of course you need to undo the transmission bolts from the bottom, and after that undo the manifold, strap some chains to it, and I believe this should come right out from the looks of it. You might need to remove the fan shroud to give it a little more space, but besides that, I don't see why it wouldn't work. So I will get going, come back and show you what we got going on, and just give you a little bit of update as I go. So I will see you when some progress is being made. Here's an update on what progress I've made. I've got to the point where I can think about pulling this thing or attaching the chains and see if we can pull this motor out. In order to get to this point, I removed the fan shroud. as well as the fans, one part. We had to unbolt the power steering, unbolt the alternator that was right here so we can get access to this AC compressor bolt. So the AC compressor stays because we don't want to drain the Freon into the air. And also decided to leave the power steering in as I didn't want to deal with the fluid. And it was just real easy, 2 bolts and it's out. AC compressor, 4 bolts, it's out. Alternator, 2 bolts, all relatively easy jobs to do. And then over here we took out the metal coolant pipe that goes right here. You take that out, unplug some stuff, and you'll be able to get access to back here, which you will, don't know if you can see that, you will be able to get access to the bell housing bolts from this way. There's just one up top and 2 starter ones, and then another one right below, or right above it. And then if we head on over here, I took the metal coolant pipe off of this side as well to do the same thing, be able to access those bell housing bolts. And then besides that, you undo the steering stick thing right there. I'm not sure what that's called, but that's what I'm calling it. And then you go underneath, unbolt 4 more 14mm bolts. And then lastly, what you want to do is get a swivel so you can get access to the motor mounts on both sides. And that concludes to where we're at. So I'm going to hook up some chains and see if I can get this thing pulled out. Alright, ladies and gents, as you can see, I got a bunch of parts here. Got way too excited, started ripping things apart and forgot to film. Plus, I expected a little bit more struggle when it comes to pulling the motor, but actually it came out in like 5 minutes after I ended the last clip. So apparently my jack, well, my hoist couldn't lift high enough, so I had to lower the tire pressure to bring the car down because I was about 1 inch short. Yeah, so I lowered the tire pressure, yanked it right out, no problems. So here's the heads, intake wiring, all that stuff. And I actually have the pan pull right here, and let's check it out. It's pretty nasty. Okay, so if we move this, you guys can tell it's a couple bolts in there, but look at that. You got a piece of bearing right here, you got more bearing right there, more bearing right there. So as you can see, it's pretty toast. Okay, so as you can tell from the oil pan, damage is pretty bad. I believe it was the 5th cylinder and the 3rd cylinder. The reason why I'm a little foggy on that is because I'm actually way further in the future now, and I actually have the block right behind you. It's been honed and hot tanked, so it's ready to go. I just got all the parts necessary to rebuild the short block and then the long block and so on and so forth. So if that sounds interesting to you, subscribe, and then when the video comes out, you'll be notified and you can fix your own engine. So that's that for today. I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.